Welcome, citizens of Metropolis, to The Fire Rises, a geeky pop culture podcast talking about all things Batman, DC, Marvel, and more. If you'd like to connect with the show, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, X, and any of the social media platforms out there. Just search tfrbatpod, and you will find us. If you'd like to provide thoughts, questions, comments, or even suggestions for future episodes of the show, just send us an email. You can shoot those to tfrbatpod@gmail.com. My name is Eric Carter, and I am your host, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Joe Fornerado. Joe, how you feeling, man? Super?
I'm feeling super. It's we're in the opening weekend of a highly praised and unanimously loved superhero movie from DC. It's
As per usual, par
as
for the
usual.
course. The life of the DC fan is nothing but sunshine and
Rainbows.
rainbows, roses. It's a good life to have.
It is,
Yes.
and I say you said greetings to the citizens of Metropolis. I'd also like to welcome citizens from National City and Midvale to include all of Supergirl's hometowns in every iteration of her, because there have been many.
Yep.
Put Argo City in there.
In fairness, we don't know where she's residing
We do not.
in this universe,
We
but
do not know where she went when she was first landed on Earth, other than that Clark was there to greet her.
yes. But yeah, so we buried the lead a little bit. We're here to talk about a brand new DC Universe film, Supergirl, which, as we're recording this, it is, as Joe mentioned, its opening weekend. Joe and I saw this on the Wednesday fan preview, so we got a little bit of an early viewing there. And it's a brand new DC film, so of course we want to talk about it. So we're going to dive right in. Before we get there, though, we do have to give a big thank you to our partner sponsor, Panel Bound Comics. Panel Bound is a small business, family owned, that brings the savings to you on things like collected editions, hardcovers, omnibus, trade paperbacks, and more. So if you're looking for alternative to buy those collected edition of comics and you're looking to save a little bit, Panel Bound Comics has got your hookup. They don't just carry Marvel and DC, the big guys, but they also carry IDW, Boom Studios, Dynamite, all the independents, and they are looking to save you on those awesome editions. So if you're looking for a copy of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I think they've got some copies on there. I think they have the beautiful deluxe edition, which I have. It's a great edition of the book. Go check them out. Use the link in the description of this podcast and use our promo codes at checkout. If you buy one book, you can use tfrbatpod to save you $2 off of any order. And if you buy 3 or more, you can use tfrbatpod, ship it together, to save 5% off of your order. So go support them, buy some books, have some awesome fun reading, and support this show as you do so. But Joe, let's get into it. We've got a brand new film, excited to talk about it. So let's talk all about Supergirl. All right, so officially Supergirl's release date is June 26th, 2026. So by the time you guys will listen to this episode, the first time it's already, we're past opening weekend. But again, as we mentioned before we jumped over, Joe, you and I saw it on the Wednesday preview night, which it seems to be that's a fun trend now for DC films. I don't know that I do any other Wednesday previews or the early screenings. It's mostly DC films.
Well, we do have the Spider-Man one coming up. Brand New Day is doing.
We do, but I don't have that. You got the Wednesday.
I do. I was able to snag one of those. That was a Prime event. I know. I want to say Shazam did a Prime event at one point. I don't remember if it was the first film or the second film, but yeah, it seems to be a tradition for DC films, even back to, I think, prior to James Gunn taking over, they've been doing this.
They did, but I feel like the ones, like I remember the Flash was like a week early,
right.
or more than that. I mean, and some of those, even the older at the tail end of the DCEU,
Mm-hmm.
we were getting like
Maybe,
free fan events.
Oh, that's right, the free ones. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was not free. So you had to pony up your dollars, which I don't mind. I don't mind supporting a DC
No,
film.
and especially if you get early.
Yeah, but it gives you that feel of like, because we don't really do the midnight screenings anymore, but it gives you more of that feel of, oh, I get to see it early, kind of
And now
excitement.
the Thursday showings now, they don't even start at 7 o'clock anymore. Some of them start at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah,
So, and I can't make the 3 o'clock in the afternoon showing. So at least when they do the Wednesday, okay, I'm definitely going to the first showing that way. So doesn't feel like you're missing out on that first showing.
Exactly. Yep. It feels like you're getting the actual initial screening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. Did you see yours in an AMC?
Yes. Mine was IMAX. Were they all IMAX screenings? I think that was the whole point, was their early IMAX screenings, right?
IMAX and premium format.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got it at my local theater is Cinema Cafe, and it's got Immersive X, which is basically Dolby.
Okay.
It's their version of Dolby. So and I love it. They're a small independent. They're only in Virginia. They've got they've got a bunch of locations in Virginia, but now they've got the Immersive X, they're starting to get all these premium screenings that all these other theaters get, which is really cool, because a lot of times you don't get that with independent theaters. So, really fun. I enjoyed going out. We had a pretty decent crowd at mine. It wasn't full, but it was, three-quarters, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, mine was full.
Good.
Mine gets full because it is an IMAX theater. Again, it's not a good IMAX theater, but people do flock to the IMAX theaters when they can get to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most people even know the difference, to be honest with you. I think people just see the IMAX. They go, hey, let's go see the IMAX at AMC. And I say all the time, I feel bad for the people that don't know any better, because like they think this is IMAX. They probably get there and they're like, oh, this is IMAX. It's nothing special. Our IMAX screen is probably maybe like a few feet bigger than our regular screens. Like even our Dolby theater, I think the IMAX screen and the Dolby theater are very similar size screens.
Oh wow, yeah. You've told me the Limax you have.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not. I go there because like it's close. It's literally a 10-minute drive for me. My legit IMAX theaters are pretty far away. I don't go there because of the IMAX. Most of the time, I'll just go to a regular theater. But this was IMAX just because they do the expanded ratio, and that's kind of what gets me into it with that. I'd rather see it in Dolby, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my preference is Dolby if I have to choose between the two. But I'll tell you, this is a tangent, but Megan sent me this. My wife Megan sent me this little. She never wants to do IMAX because they don't have the recliners.
Exactly.
But she sent me this little clip that somebody had put. I can't remember who posted it. It might have been IMAX themselves, but it showed the difference for the Odyssey between the regular ratio and the IMAX ratio, and she said, damn, we're going to have to go see this in IMAX.
Well, so the problem with that is like my IMAX theater will not show the expanded ratio for the Odyssey, because the Odyssey is, again, tangent, nerdy, geekiness stuff here. The Odyssey is the full 4:3.
Yeah.
My theater cannot do that. My theater is just the 16:9 IMAX, which is a normal size screen. I don't understand why IMAX somehow got the rights to this stupid ratio, which is nothing special. It drives me, again, I don't want to go on a tangent here too far, but that drives me crazy. But Odyssey, I would love to go to a legit 70 millimeter IMAX if I could. If not 70 millimeter, at least one that will expand to the full ratio, because that'll be something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try to find one of those, because I think it's a Nolan film. That's how you
I was lucky enough to see BVS in one of those theaters. So,
cool. Well, let's talk about Supergirl. I do want to keep it spoiler free for a little bit, because this is, we're recording, as we said, we're still in opening weekend, so we want to give people a chance to see the film. So we'll give you a spoiler warning before we hop over and start diving into all the details. But I do want to get your just spoiler free general thoughts on the film, Joe. What did you think of Supergirl?
So I only saw it the one time so far. I would love to go see it again, try to take the wife to go see it if we can get a babysitter and make time to go see it. I told you when I first got out, I really, really liked it. Borderline love it. I'm on the cusp there. I will say I don't think it
I have the receipts, Joe. You
I
said
think I
I
said I
love
love. I loved it. Okay.
it.
So after further reflection, um, I have less issues with this
Mhm.
than I have with Superman.
Which is fascinating to me.
But I don't think it reaches the highs that Superman reaches.
Mhm.
So I think this one is more even keel throughout for me.
Mhm.
Where Superman, the highs save my nitpicks, if that makes sense. Like my nitpicks of Superman were the tone, the
Mhm.
jokes, some of the stuff didn't land like that for me. I don't think it's a, and we are going to disagree with this when we talk about Supergirl. I don't think Superman is a very good looking film. I think
Mhm.
like yes, it's bright colored. I think people are tricked by bright colors sometimes
Mhm.
and think that means it's good looking. Um, I don't, for whatever reason, think it's colored very well. I don't like the look of the suit, that kind of stuff. Um, but that's again, it's a nitpick. I think the Superman, like I've been watching the Superman movie this morning, so like I love the Superman movie. It's not like I'm saying this to be all negative, but I think after first viewing, there were things that bothered me more than Supergirl. But I also don't think Supergirl reaches those highs. I mean, I think the emotional stuff in Supergirl is so good
Mhm.
to the level, in my opinion, of Superman. I mean, the emotional stuff of Superman is my favorite part, and I think the emotional stuff with Supergirl is also my favorite part.
Mhm.
Um, Millie Alcock is great. I even said, and I'm drawing the blank again. What's the girl's name? The little girl.
Ruthie.
Ruthie. I think
Mhm.
she's fantastic too, and she could have very well been annoying cliche sidekick, and she is a cliche sidekick character. On a on a journey. We've seen that numerous times. That's
Mhm.
not anything new, but I think the character works for me, and I think their relationship worked really well for me. Again, I think the humor worked for me. I don't think the humor was over the top. I think the tone was where it needed to be in this movie. And I'm going to stop there. I'll let you talk a little bit and we'll get more into the details when we start talking about the movie. But to me, I think, again, I don't think the highs were as high as Superman. I don't think the highs ever got to where I wanted them to be. I think
Yeah.
that's my biggest negative is there was not that big fist pump moment or, you know, just stand up and applaud or I don't know. I don't know what I was even expecting, but I think there were like certain nitpicks that I have
Mhm.
just didn't reach that level I wanted it to. But I don't think
Mhm.
it ever got to the point where it was so far on the ground level that I was bored or anything like that. It had my interest the whole time.
Mhm.
I don't think it wore out its welcome. I think the length was good. So I do have a lot of things that I love about the movie.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing up the cast, by the way, because I failed to mention the cast. So we have Craig Gillespie directing this film, Millie Alcock starring as Supergirl, Eve Ridley is Ruthie. Of course, we have David Corenswet reprising his role as Superman. We got David Krumholtz as Zor-El, who is Bernard from the Santa Claus, and I didn't
Among
realize.
other things, he's not gone away since the
No,
Santa
no, he hasn't. But that's my connection to David Krumholtz. I
Claus.
know he's been in a
Yeah.
ton of other things, but I kept thinking during the movie, I'm like, why does he look so familiar? And then afterwards, I texted you. I was
Yeah.
like, it's Bernard.
Yeah.
so so yeah. Re- um, and of course, we can't forget we've got Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Mhm.
So my spoiler free thoughts on the film. I think that you are slightly more positive on this film than I am,
So you
but that
hated it.
I despise this movie. No, I think this is a pretty good superhero movie.
Mhm.
I think it has a lot of issues that keep it from being anything over pretty good.
Mhm.
And most of them for me are technical issues. And if I'm noticing technical issues while I'm watching a movie, that's bad because I don't notice things like that. Like I never go into a movie and think about color grading
Yeah.
a lot of times I will listen to like a score before or after a film I didn't listen to this one before, and it's not very memorable to me in here. I can't. There was nothing hum worthy in this score. Um, I'll give it one thing. There was a needle drop towards the end of the movie that's a cover that I thought was pretty cool in the moment. But otherwise, musically, I just don't think it's anything special. I don't think I will give you one thing that you mentioned that I really honed in on. There was nothing like that wowed me about any of the action sequences or anything like that. But story wise, it's a pretty but general plot is pretty faithful to the source material it comes from. There are details that are tinkered with here and there,
Yeah.
but Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a book that I really love. I think it's a great book, and the general story is here in the movie, which I enjoyed. I liked watching this journey between Kara and Ruthie. Now, I've told you before we recorded a couple days ago, I love True Grit. This story is True Grit. Tom King has been on record that he was influenced heavily by the novel True Grit, and of course the two films that were made after it. Every time I read the book, and I think this is where I've got to separate the book from the movie because it's a little unfair, but every time I read the book, when I read Ruthie, I hear Haley Steinfeld in my head because I love her in True Grit with Jeff Bridges. And I think that's a problem with the movie that I have that's on me because I don't think Eve Ridley, I don't think she lives up to Haley Steinfeld in
That's
that
funny.
movie.
That's such a weird comparison to like you're comparing it to.
Like I said, that's on me, but I can't separate it because of how close the stories are.
Yep.
But I don't think she had a ton to do in this movie. She's, I don't know.
But I would argue, like, and I don't want to get into arguments already, but like, I don't think it's a Supergirl movie. We want Supergirl to be the focal point. So
it absolutely is.
See us arguing that Ruthie takes up too much time if she had too much to do. You know what I mean?
Sure, but I don't think Ruthie is a character you're going to see ever pop back up in the DCU. I think she was specifically for this story, and
I'm happy about, to be honest with you. Like, that's not because I don't like her, but I just don't. There's no reason.
But ultimately, it's a pretty good film. Here's my thing, though. Craig Gillespie. I don't know if you've ever seen anything from Craig Gillespie before.
I'm sure I have, but I didn't look up what else he did.
Craig Gillespie did the Fright Night remake with Colin Farrell. He did I, Tonya. He did Cruella with Emma Stone. He's a stylish filmmaker.
Yeah.
Very stylish. And that's what I was expecting out of the film. And I think that's the ultimate letdown for me is I don't think this film has a lot of style. I think it felt to me like Craig Gillespie trying to make a James Gunn movie. And that's where I ultimately think it's pretty good, but I was disappointed a little bit.
So let's get into that before we get into spoilers, because I think we can talk about that before we get into spoilers. There's a headline going around that people are clinging to right now, and people are like getting mad about it. That the headline says director purposely didn't read comic that movie was adapted from.
I don't believe that. I don't buy it.
Read the freaking article, people. I'm sorry. But it basically said when he first did the styles for the other planets, he wanted to come up with his vision of what the world would look like prior to reading the book. He didn't want to just copy the book.
Right.
Once he came up with ideas, he read the book. So let's not pretend like the guy was like throwing the book in the garbage, ignoring it. That's not what it was. But again, that's not a sexy headline. The sexy headline isn't guy wanted to make a faithful adaptation, but also have his own vision. you know? So that's my problem with this kind of stuff is that kind of stuff will get traction so quickly without any facts whatsoever. And it's like, no, he just didn't want to be beholden to something subconsciously before he came up with his own ideas. Once he came up with his own ideas, then he read the book and said, okay, I like this, I don't like this, or I want to do this, I don't want to do this. And I can respect that whether I agree or disagree with what his stylistic choice was.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. I don't particularly like the look of all of the planets we explore because I do think they look too similar. To him, his decision was he wanted them all to look dirty and grimy because that was the tone he was going for. So again, I don't necessarily agree with that particular decision, but let's not pretend it wasn't a decision.
And I have not seen that headline. I know, nor have I read that article.
Okay.
But that confuses me even more, honestly, hearing you say that, because it doesn't match what I've seen from him before.
Yeah,
Because he's so stylish. So it's
but again, this to him was the style he was going for,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is disappointing. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is disappointing. I wish the planets had more of an identity
Mm-hmm.
because whether he wanted it to go dirty and grimy, that was just the choice he made, which again, disappointing. It's not blasphemous like people
Yeah,
are making it out to be.
yeah.
Um, so, and I don't know if this is spoiler or not. I don't really think it is, and I'm pretty sensitive to spoilers. I think his stylistic choice of going dirty and grimy throughout makes the final act seem more bold. I'm again maybe speaking for him out of turn, but that's the way I'm interpreting it.
Mm.
Is when we see the final act in the Supergirl suit and all that, I think that's the stylistic choice of the suit popping with all the dirty and grimy stuff we've seen throughout the movie, and it's
I
a
don't want to get too much into that.
yeah.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
So yeah, I just again I don't I'm not defending his choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm defending his right to have that choice because people are making it out to be like he was just totally spitting on the book, and I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I just to get the rest of the spoiler free negatives out of the way. I also don't. I think the villains were blah
Yeah.
here. And I know that in the book they're really not. The villain is not the purpose of the story,
Mhm.
but here they really like crank up the villains a little bit. But I think it's to a detriment to them level.
And when we get over the wall, I might want to bring up something I wanted to mention it to you before we started recording to see if you even heard about it. There is something to there's a rumor going on right now about what this villain backstory was,
Mm-hmm.
and it tested poorly. So they removed it.
Even then, I mean, the book didn't have a backstory for Grim.
No.
You didn't really need it.
And honestly, the backstory that they gave, I'm not particularly fond of, if this is true. It's
Yeah.
a caveat, which I'll get into.
But
yeah,
I mean,
not-
the design of Grim, that was in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. I don't like the design.
No. It's weird.
And the rest of his gang looks pretty much like him.
Yeah.
So they all look like Mad Max characters,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, it is what it is.
I can't defend the villain, and I never like when they use kind of the villain in like a quirky, humorous type of way too, even though he's just sick and demented. And I don't know, I wasn't crazy about the villain. So me and you are actually flipped on the book and the movie, I think. So like you prefer you are definitely more positive on the book than I am.
Mhm.
I like the book. I don't think it's this masterful thing that a lot of people think it is. I'm probably a little bit less than you are with that. So like I don't think the villain is particularly interesting in the book, but like you said, he doesn't need to be here.
He's purposefully meant not to be.
Yes, where here I think they tried to give him a little bit more, which I didn't need.
Yeah.
And again, the story is not about the villain. We've had plenty of superhero movies where the villains are vanilla.
Mhm.
Why, of course, for a DC movie now, we've had superhero movies in the DC universe where the villains are amazing and nobody really cares. But the minute we have one that is like vanilla, the villain is terrible.
And I think and I don't want to get stuck on this, but I think that's the issue: is he's not vanilla, he's cringy. I think it goes.
He reminds me of Ronan from Guardians.
What crossed with Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
who makes these weird little mannerisms, and I don't know. It took me out of it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm
on,
not defending the villain.
on the
And it's a
positives though,
weird
because
decision.
I do want to give positives on this spoiler free section, because I did enjoy myself. I just had a lot of issues that kept me from loving it.
Mm-hmm.
What I did love was Millie Alcock as
Yep.
Kara Zor-El.
Yep.
She was great.
Awesome.
I love that we know that there's some flashbacks to her loss on Krypton. We know that from the trailers. It's performed impactfully by Millie. She does a great job with that. We understand why she's in the position she's in, emotionally, and psychologically. Jason Momoa is take Aquaman out of your head. He is Lobo.
Yeah.
He was born to play Lobo, and he is so good at it. And Ruthie, I think Ruthie was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that the Eve Ridley did a really good job playing Ruthie. So the cast, I think overall, aside from the villains, I think the cast was really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest positive I can say about the movie is I'm excited to see what the future holds for Millie's Supergirl and Jason's Lobo.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Lobo fan to begin with. So I don't know. I don't understand the obsession that people have with Lobo, because I don't think he's that great of a character. But I
think he's hilarious.
But I also think this movie served him well, because I don't think he overstayed his welcome. I don't think he was the focal point. I was worried that it was going to be too much, and I don't think it was.
And we'll talk about it over the spoiler wall. We'll talk about it because I want to talk about an action piece with Lobo. But let's do it. Let's get over the spoiler wall. Talk about it openly. So if you haven't seen Supergirl, this is your time to pause, go see the movie, come back, or if you don't care, just continue listening. But it's on you, because we're gonna spoil the heck out of this thing.
And even though we went a little bit more negative probably than I wanted to in the spoiler-free section, go see the movie. I really did enjoy it. I want to go see it again. It's easier sometimes to talk about the negatives, I guess, before we're over the spoiler wall, because the stuff we love is going to be, spoilery.
Well, again, I told you I'm gonna be fair and honest.
Yeah.
And there's some of those things really stuck out. So felt like I had to talk about them. But again, I would go see. I want to go see this again. So that should tell you something.
Yeah.
But spoiler filled conversation, Joe. I want to go back to something that you talked about. We're not going to go beat by beat through the movie, but I want to go back to something you were talking about, because I didn't want to blast it in the spoiler free section. Yeah. We don't see Millie as Supergirl wearing the suit until the last little bit of the third act.
Yeah. So this acts to me as an origin story without being an origin. Like they gave her the origin arc. We're seeing her become the Supergirl that is going to be in the DCU. Mm-hmm. And as much as I don't like not seeing her in the suit for the majority of this movie, I actually think it was a clever way to give us a Supergirl origin film that felt different than a typical origin movie. It told a story from a comic that I do like.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept her on her own without needing Superman in an origin movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really like that idea of the first Supergirl movie in the DCU focusing on Supergirl, giving her her own journey. You know, we do have the Superman bits here. I don't think they're too much. But I like the fact that this is Supergirl's movie. They could have very easily done, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse or something. They could have totally done that story as Supergirl's introduction to the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a better way for us to have a Supergirl standalone movie. And maybe I'm wrong for that. And I think the other one would have probably been better received.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think there was anything wrong with the way that they structured this, or the way that they introduced Supergirl into the universe with this film. I'm just strictly talking about her in the suit.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. I kind of took that another way.
with that, I mean they sold the iconography of this film of the the suit under the
yeah,
trench coat.
that's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I
why?
mean, they have the weird, creepy cup with the trench coat over the
Yeah,
suit, and they
and
have, you know, the Hot Toys figure is primarily sold on look at her in the suit with the trench
yeah,
coat and the glasses.
they use again. That's they always use putting the suit on as an arc, and it seems like a crutch or a cliche at this point, where it's like the hero can't put the suit on until they accept the role that they have, you know, were like. We just want to see him in the suit, dude.
And it's exactly that. It's at
It
this
is.
point, it's a crutch.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I have with what you were talking about with the color and trying to use that suit as the pop of color in the film.
We don't get it until the end.
That would be great, but the film looks the same all the way throughout, and then we only get that at the end.
Yeah.
Which you could have had that all the way through if she's wearing the trench coat over it. You'd have still had that pop of color.
It would have really been cool to have it under the trench coat throughout the movie, like the book.
Like the book.
She's walking around in the suit the whole time, even without the trench coat at times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with that. I think it would have been fun to have her in the suit more. The reason I went on that tangent with the origin is they feel like for an origin movie, she has to earn that suit. She has to, it's the arc. She puts it on, and now she's the hero we come to love. Which you could have accomplished the same thing if she took the trench coat off.
Mm-hmm.
Her taking the trench coat off is her becoming the hero by the end. You could have accomplished the same thing.
Exactly.
But they were going for that grungy, and that's a stereotype to her. It's like she's got the blondie shirt on, like
yeah, and that's
that weird metal vibe. I don't know.
Which I think is what really keyed me in on like the color timing, color grading, things like that, is because when she's wearing those super dark clothes, a lot of those early action scenes are really dark too. And she's wearing dark clothes, it kind of washes her out. Mm-hmm. There's that scene in the it's in that village where Kara and Ruthie get sold out.
Yes.
The family sells them out. When they have that big action sequence in the square, it's hard to see what's going on in that sequence.
I don't remember having that issue.
Everybody's backlit, but there's no lighting on them. It was really weird.
Okay, I'd have to focus on it next time because I don't remember having that issue.
Yeah.
I do remember it looking just like the stereotypical grimy planet.
It's muddy.
Yeah, there's no style to the planets. There's no differential. Any of these planets could have been on the same planet or on the same 2-block radius.
And if you watch the trailer, we know now that trailer, there's multiple planets that you see in the trailer.
And we didn't realize that.
I never would have known it. I thought it was all the same location.
Even the bus looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
The only planet that looks different is the planet at the end with the green sun and the yellow sun, which I actually want to discuss with you if we can real quick.
Sure.
How did you feel about the whole green sun thing? Because that's not a thing, right?
No.
The whole green sun thing is weird.
It's like they took kryptonite and turned it into a sun. And
I don't think that's a thing. In the book, wasn't it something about red kryptonite or...
Yeah, it's something about the atmosphere of the planet itself.
It was something about the planet, and it was actually manufactured
to hold Kryptonians.
Prison.
Because Superman had previously been stuck on that planet, and the point of it was that he was only on there for 45 minutes, and it debilitated him.
And the point was that there was no sun. When the sun rose, it would heal him. This had two different, the concept of the two suns was cool, but also wouldn't Krem know that like the sun's going to set and the other one's going to come? Like that was where it got a little muddy to me. That's the one big story nitpick that I have.
And they just hung around and waited for that other sun when they knew they were going to power her up. So
that's the one story nitpick that I have is that planet with the two suns was a little convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about that though, I loved the whole bus scene with the yellow sun coming up. That was a lot of fun.
The bus was so fun, and the little alien, and I can't find his name. I don't know if he has a name.
It was like some like normal name, wasn't it? Like Larry.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless Larry was the bus driver.
I think no, yeah, I think Larry was the bus driver. I don't know what the little guy's name was,
Can't remember
uh,
Ruthie's name, but I remember the bus driver's name.
but he's Seth Rogen. It's now been confirmed. He's voiced by Seth Rogen. He was hilarious.
Yes, I agree. I thought that was great.
So great little humorous moments with the bus. And I think that was a really good setup of her as a hero too.
Yeah.
And I think there's multiple moments throughout, which is what the book does. The book shows us these different locations, and it shows the good that Kara can't help but do.
Yeah.
In each of these situations, even though she's this really, she's kind of in a dour mood. She's emotionally wrecked. She can't get over the loss of her people. She doesn't feel like she has community or people.
Yeah.
But she can't help but to do good.
And I would argue the movie does a better job with that arc being more of a drastic arc than the book, because the book she's already established as Supergirl.
True.
It's not an origin story, the book. The movie
Mhm.
is more younger in her career. So I think the movie does a good job of showing she's still a good person, but she's trying to figure herself out. Where the book, she already knows who she is.
Mhm.
So I like she's never mean to Ruthie. She's always, I mean, she pretty much accepts that she's going to have Ruthie tag along really early. With everything going on, she's always protecting people. You're right. She's always a hero in this movie. She's not being aloof to anything going on.
Mhm.
I
tell you, one of the things that I really don't understand. So I've seen a lot of people compare. Like, apparently, you can't put dogs in peril anymore because John Wick did it, and we just can't do it anymore.
We're allowed to put people in peril, but not dogs. It's
no,
copying.
Yeah, because now it's just that they're just copying John Wick.
We can fridge anyone we want as long as it's a woman.
Yeah, that's a big complaint I've seen about the movie, is that Kara's whole motivation is saving Crypto.
And that's a bad motivation?
I guess. I don't know. I like the motivation. I actually will say I think that's one thing that I prefer in the movie over the book.
Yes, and we talked about this, and we're going to spoil the book here for the next few minutes if anyone cares.
Yeah, but
I don't like that part in the book. And I must have blocked it out because I had no memory of it until I read it the second time.
I do like it, and there's a reason why. I like the movie version better. I like that the reason in the book is because Kara knew that Crypto was okay. He was never in any danger. She was doing it just because she's a good person. She wanted to help Ruthie.
And I think there's more reason to have it this way in the movie because she's still trying to figure herself out. That's the only motivation she needs. She has to have that motivation in the book. I mean, in the movie.
Yeah.
So I liked it. Did I ever think there was a chance in hell that Crypto would die? No, I didn't. I would have been very upset if that was the case. I think that would have gone too far.
Yeah.
But I think it's going in. I knew that it was going to be tough to see this dog be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it makes sense. And that's taken from the book. You can't complain on one hand, they're taking not enough from the book. And then on the other hand, you're complaining because the whole setup of the book is used.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for people that aren't crazy about the book, there is enough from the story here that they adapted and streamlined it to make it a better script for the movie to appease everybody and appease different things, whatever you want to call it. I think this was a really good adaptation of the source material. I didn't want a page for page adaptation. I didn't. And as someone who understands the criticisms of the book to an extent, I think they did a great job of, taking that core story, doing a better job of having little episodic journeys that mean more, in my opinion. I think the book meanders a little bit with the journey because I don't think every chapter of the book is necessary, in my opinion. I think,
and that's where you and I differ on that, because I love the little journeys into like the planet where there's this whole it's a racial divide.
Oh, there again,
and this
I don't think that would work as well in a movie though.
No, I don't either, and I wouldn't want that adapted into the movie. But in the
Yeah.
book, I love it because you get to see Kara tackle these different issues
Yeah.
and troubles and strife in the book. You don't need all that in the movie. It would be
No, it
entirely
took
too long.
that core and it
Yeah.
gave you different little scenarios for her that I think
Hmm.
work better for the movie.
Yeah, I agree. And we do get like we get like a trafficking
Yeah.
scenario in this movie where they turn instead of this gang being, which is interesting because it's a switch because Krim joins a gang in the book and he's the leader of a gang in this movie.
Mhm.
Where and they're basically like they're not human traffickers because these aren't humans, but they're being traffickers. They're trafficking young girls, which I mean, there's a lot of and not in a heavy-handed or a bad way, but I think there's a lot of cool feminism tones in this movie.
Mhm.
Because it's all about, it's female led. Of course, the villain's male, but not anything like against males. It's just the villain happens to be male. But we've got our heroes are women with Kara and Ruthie,
Mhm.
and then our people in peril are women as well, aside from Crypto. Like I said, all this trafficking thing is. I thought that was an interesting addition. What did you think of that?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the uh the original thing. So ask me that question one more time. I'm sorry.
The trafficking aspect, that was kind of an addition for the
Yeah,
film.
I mean, that's where to me it works fine. It's a good issue for them to tackle. It seems like more of just a way to come up with something. So I don't know. If he's into the trafficking, why did he leave Ruthie in the beginning?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Um it just seemed so that's where I respect the movie for going into dark places,
Mm-hmm.
but the trafficking thing I feel like is a little overdone, and it's
I
almost
I think they wanted to give it one of those issues, kind of like that
yeah.
Kara encounters in the book. But your point is valid. Why didn't they take Ruthie?
So
Because they wanted to take her later.
so the reason I was looking this up, I'm trying to find it. Originally, Krem's backstory, and apparently it didn't test well. I'm trying to find where I read it, and I don't know how true this is. Take it with a grain of salt because anyone can write whatever the heck they want online nowadays. But apparently, he was trying to make like he was a child predator,
Mm-hmm.
and he was basically trying to make Ruthie his wife or something. Um, if that's the case, oh, he was abused as a child, so he was trying to do the same to Ruthie and make her his wife. That was
That's
the original, and I'm glad that didn't
that's
stay in the
way overthinking an inconsequential villain.
yes, and I think that was so. There's two ways to look at that. They did have a story for him, but
Mm-hmm.
out because it didn't work. So I'm glad it didn't work because I don't think we needed that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I wish they would have come up with something better for his motivation so we could have at least cared or do less with him because I didn't need anything anyway. So,
I'm fine with him just being a bad guy because he's
yeah,
bad.
most directors and writers aren't okay with that. Most writers and directors don't feel like they can do a movie like that. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, they don't want a villain to just be a villain. Everyone wants to do the sympathetic villain. Everybody. You're not allowed to just be a bad guy to be a bad guy unless you're the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
not in Joker. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm glad that, and I don't know how true it is. Again, I just don't think that's necessary in this movie. I don't think that would have worked in this movie.
What do you think of the difference between the book where Krim just killed her father and the movie where it's her whole family
Yeah,
dies?
that's one of those choices where I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think from a story perspective, it makes way more sense because it never occurred to me like, where the hell is her mom in the book?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it sets up more of a obviously more painful, um, and it makes it more likely or more logical for her to be on her own if
Mm-hmm.
her family is completely gone. So I didn't have a problem with that change. I actually might prefer that change despite it being way darker. And again, pardon the phrase, but I think this movie had a lot of balls. Like they went to places that were dark and they weren't afraid to go to dark places without it being like I'm glad they didn't do the human I'm glad they didn't do the whole thing about him being abused as a child because I think that's a little too much. But they
Mm-hmm.
weren't afraid to go to places that aren't typical in these movies. I mean, I granted the family being killed, I mean that's done in like every Disney movie. But I think killing the woman, the two parents and the kid in the trafficking scene you were talking about, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, and that's
So like that's where I could like
I
did it
think
get
that's where
out of
Krim. I think that's where Krim. Like I agree with you. I think for the movie it works to have him kill the entire family. That's it's deeper emotional depth. Um, they also changed it. The family where the dad they're not just farmers.
yeah, he was when
The dad is a weapons maker, which also doesn't make a lot of sense because he killed the family and took no weapons. Like because Ruthie goes and gets the sword from the armory and
oh,
goes
I didn't
off
even
on her
think of that.
adventure. Yeah, so I think Krim was not well developed. Is the problem?
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
So he didn't take any of the weapons?
he didn't take anything.
He didn't take the rest of them and just leave the one?
Not that I don't remember. Again, you and I have seen this one time,
Yeah.
but he definitely didn't take the sword, which was like the most iconic thing. So
Huh.
like,
Yeah, now I got to see what how that transpired because I don't remember.
mm-hmm, yeah. But anyway, so
There was no
again,
really story reason for him to be a weapons maker, right?
yeah, I mean everybody. So they set up in the bar early when we meet Supergirl that everybody knows the name of this weapons maker. So, like it because she's telling Ruthie goes into the bar and she's asking if she can get someone to go after this villain. You know, kind of the
Yeah.
same thing she does in the book. She's asking people to for basically a bounty to go after Krim,
And their reward would be the sword.
and nobody pays attention until she says who her father was.
Yeah.
So he's a renowned weapons
Yeah.
maker, and everybody kind of perks up at his name. So I like that piece that you know they make him at least his name holds weight.
And maybe because of the stylistic choices, the farmer aspect wouldn't have worked theoretically because like who cares about a farmer in this grimy disgusting planet,
Yeah, I
but
guess.
I think it would have been nice in a different story to have these people honor a friendly farmer as opposed to the weapons maker. I don't know. Again,
Hmm.
we can't have it's not my movie, you know. But this is the choice they went with.
Yeah, yeah, and then you know we get a very similar sequence of Supergirl actually taking joining Ruthie in her adventure after Krim steals her ship and shoots Crypto.
Yeah.
And of course, we determine that Crypto's got 3 days
Yeah.
to get this antidote to the poison he's been shot with, which is some kind of kryptonite poison
Mhm.
that Krim has. Um,
How did you feel? And this is stupid stuff that takes me out of movies. 3 days didn't bother me. The
mhm.
fact that it was 3 days, I can go with. Days are days. The minute she said 72 hours, I go, what the hell are we talking about here? We got hours now, too? Like, I don't know why that took me out of it. And it's a dumb thing to complain about with powers and all this stuff going on. Whenever they use actual, like, Earth measurements, I'm like, you didn't need to do that. To me, that is a writing problem.
I had less issue with the time than I did that apparently the entire universe knows that this dead planet that only two people exist from are weak to kryptonite.
So wait, did Crypto? Wait, so did Crypto have kryptonite poisoning?
Yeah, because later he had a gauntlet full of it that he was shooting Kara with, and he says it's kryptonite.
I thought it was different poisons.
No, it's the same stuff.
I
Because
thought it
he's
was different. I thought what Crypto had was different than her. I thought he said he refined it for her.
it was there. What else would have hurt Crypto?
They weren't on a yellow sun planet when he was hurt.
Oh, that's true. Is red
So
sun.
that's where I forgave that because I thought to myself, why not just take him to a yellow sun? But they did say moving him would hurt him more.
Hurt him yet, but either way, he had a gauntlet full of kryptonite later. So apparently, the entire universe knows that these two people left in the universe are weak to this substance.
Yeah. Again, there are issues with this, but this is kind of how comic books work.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
That's
Now,
where so like there are two things that take me out of movies with like when you're on other planets is language is very hard to not to either go with or you don't. So like
mhm,
words are always going to be weird and always going to be different, but to me like measurement like 72 hours, we know from science fiction that every planet has different time frames of their days. Even science, not even science fiction. So the minute she said 72 hours, I go, "Oh, so now we're literally doing 3 days is just unanimous for everybody?" That's a standard time frame for everybody?
it was translated. To be fair,
But you can't translate the word hours to mean the same thing. That's why it bothered me. Again, just leave it out. Just leave it out. Just say 3
as
days.
somebody who has way more issues with this film than you do, I think you're overthinking.
So that was one thing that took me out of it. It's just and I know it's stupid, but that took me out of it and hearing Earth music on other planets when there's no
Yeah,
story reason for it does bother me. Like
yeah,
that again, I hate needle drops. I just don't think they're necessary. It takes me out of a movie if I don't like it or do like it, whatever. But when that alien was singing a song from like the 70s in I don't remember what the song was. And everyone knew the song, and I'm just like, how? Like, there's no music on this planet that we wouldn't know.
no, they have no culture of their own. They steal everything from Earth.
So that again, stupid things to complain about, but I think those are things you can avoid, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to avoid it for whatever reason.
Now, what I think the reason that maybe I didn't ever even consider the hours is because I like what they did with that. Because the timepiece, the little pocket
Yeah.
watch thing that Supergirl has when she sets that timer for 3 days,
Yes.
that takes us into the flashback of where that came from, and it takes us into the last days of Argo City and what happened with her being shipped off.
That's why the 72 hours thing annoyed me because it took me out of it from something that I thought was really cool. Oh, this is the thing that just shows days.
I didn't think about it one bit. I'll be
Yeah, I
honest
don't
with you.
I don't know why that bothered me, but okay.
Yeah, but I love going to Argo City. I mean, love is weird to say because it's sad.
Tragic. Yeah.
It is very tragic seeing the end of Argo City and seeing it and we've seen it from the trailers where she said, Krypton didn't die in a day. It took a lot longer than that.
God's
So
that kind.
the
That
gods are not that kind.
delivery, even in the trailer, it is beautiful. Like the performance that she gives in those scenes,
Mhm.
she balances the humor of the character and the seriousness of the character so well.
Yeah. And the one little thing that I got to get over it because apparently this is a thing. They're just going to keep coming back to it. Is the Jor-El's a dick thing? And he just because they mention it here.
Yeah.
With Zor-El and his wife, Kara's parents, that they intend for Cal to be a world conqueror, and that's why they sent him off world. But they go out of their way to seemingly make Kara's parents the altruistic ones.
Yeah.
Like they're the that shining hope of Krypton that we've seen in the past for Jor-El.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice. I don't know why James Gunn is so hung on this
So I wonder.
concept.
I think it was a weird twist in Superman that didn't need to be.
That's not this movie's fault, by the way. Just want to
No,
make that clear.
that's actually what I'm getting at, because I think it's a weird twist in Superman for the sake of having a twist. I don't think it was necessary.
Mhm.
And I think this movie was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that to Kara's parents.
Yeah.
And I like that. Again, I would assume Gunn has to approve it. And he goes, that's fine. Do what you need to do. We're going to go with Kara's parents being the reason that she's as good as she is, because you need to do that because she's conscious of what's going on. So you can't have her parents be dicks too. It wouldn't work.
It causes an issue for me though, Joe, because of the continuity of clearly Superman knew Supergirl before the events of the Superman film,
And it never came up.
and they never discussed it. When they're openly talking about this in Argo City, she had to have known, hey, your dad was a dick, but never said anything about it.
I'm trying to, and I would have to go back and be conscious of when they actually say that about the parents. Is it right before she gets on the ship?
No, there's a couple of little mentions of it.
But they don't like say he's a dick. They just say like he's gonna have powers and this and that, and
They call him that they think he's a world conqueror. Yeah.
But they don't use the word harem or anything like that. So you could
No, they don't use the harem thing.
I can write it off as Kara is not that way. Kara is not influenced in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to Earth, sees how Clark is, and immediately is just like, this is the status quo. I understand where you're coming from because it is weird. And I do think that is a problem with Superman, not this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big issue for Clark in that movie.
Yeah.
It's a huge, changes everything about how he sees his past and his lineage. So I don't know.
I get the continuity issue because how would Supergirl never at least mention, hey, I heard something about like you being a world conqueror. Again, I can write it off pretty easily though, where it's just Superman will just be like, no, that's not true, and it just moves on.
It's my biggest issue with the DCU so far.
Yeah. I don't like it. I really don't. I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And for all the people that criticize Man of Steel for the way they treated Clark's Earth parents for, I don't know, being good parents, this is something that people are like, oh, it's fine. It's no big deal.
I will say, though, I think that's so smart with how conflicted that Kara is. Kara didn't have Ma and Pa Kent. And that,
as far as we don't know what she had when she got to Earth.
She had Clark. That's what she had. But she was already way past the age that he was when he landed on Earth.
Oh, yeah, but we don't know how old she was, right?
She was a teenager, I'm assuming.
And so like we miss.
She's 23 now.
Okay, so we miss a good 5, give or take 5 or 10 years.
I'm 5-ish, I would say, probably.
Okay, so let's say we missed 5 years of her being raised on Earth, and we don't know where she was in that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big gap to fill of where she was.
But the point is, she lost her entire world when she was old enough to be cognizant and know it. Clark,
that's new.
Clark grew up a kid on Earth with parents who loved him, and Kara didn't get that.
And as far as I know, that's a new interpretation of Argo City. That's not even in the book.
Well, I mean, you get that in Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, because she's older when she lands on Earth.
But the backstory with that in the comics has always been she was always older. But the reason, so she was older when Krypton exploded. It wasn't like Argo City was by itself for 15 years. She knew Clark and they were the same age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, they weren't the same age. She knew Clark as a baby. She was 15. the reason she didn't get to Earth until later was because of like a whole Phantom Zone thing or a whole.
Regardless, she never had the parents that
Oh, no.
Clark has on
I just,
Earth.
but that is
To,
very different as far as I didn't. Her being raised on Argo City after Krypton has exploded is new, right?
yeah. She she that's the thing. She lost her community.
Mhm.
Clark never knew his original one.
No.
That's the difference.
Oh yeah.
So you see that big impact for her, and it makes sense of where she's at in this movie.
Well, just to
Um,
get back on what we were saying about the parents, I like that. I like that her parents are what we've known to expect Clark's parents to be in
yes.
the books. Be
Mhm.
good. I love that, and I'm gonna butcher the line, but it was no matter what you do, make mistakes, whatever you do, but always be good.
Mhm. Yep.
You could
I
be
like that a
like I
lot.
think he said something like you can be angry, you can be mad, whatever it might be, but
But
always
be
be
good.
good.
Yeah.
I think that from two guys that weren't really happy with what they did with Jarrell and Zarel, I like that we're getting that from Kara's parents. So if they're gonna do that weird twist that we didn't like, at least we're getting that emotional um thing from.
And David Krumholtz sells it really well.
Yeah, it's great.
It's speaking in another language. He
Yeah,
sells it really well.
yeah.
And it's so tragic seeing her mom get sick,
It's horrible. Yeah.
and then seeing like everybody get sick, and then her dad, and he is basically modified the plans for the pod to send Kal-El to Earth to fit her and Crypto, of course. I love the setup of Crypto as a puppy.
Oh yeah.
He's adorable.
And
Um,
that's where I will say this is the part of the movie when I was watching it and I said to myself, wow, this is the most invested I've been in the movie so far. And in
yes.
most movies, the second act is where the movie drags.
Hmm.
I felt the second act of this movie was the strongest because of the Argo City stuff and the emotional stuff. I really loved all of this stuff. I thought this is what won me over with the movie. Granted, I don't think the third act is bad, but this
Well,
was.
my
I think
honest,
after this is where it starts to drag a little bit, is when it goes from the Argo City stuff right before the actual third act battle.
yeah. Well, and I like I think my favorite parts of the movie are the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Because I love her meeting
Clark.
Cal
Yeah.
too, or Clark. Yeah. And just he continues to be just the perfect big blue Boy Scout version
Yes.
of Superman. Because I love that she doesn't understand a thing he's saying. And there's even that little moment where he goes, "Why am I talking louder?
That is
I'm
my
sorry."
favorite line. And I told you, I'm so disappointed that they released that clip prior to the movie coming out, and I'm mad I watched it.
I never saw it. So
Yeah, 'cause it sucks when you see that stuff prior because it's so much more fun to see that stuff for the first time when the movie is, there in front of you.
yeah. Yeah. We haven't talked about the introduction of Lobo yet. That scene in the bar, even though we did have the weird singing, that takes away from it a little bit with the Earth music. But Kara already knew who Lobo was, which I thought was interesting. I guess that's from her many travels, getting drunk in all kinds of places in space. But that she didn't want to talk to him. She didn't want to acknowledge him. And Ruthie goes up and tries to get him to do the bounty.
Yeah. And that's where, like, because this is an established DCU and Clark, I mean, he's been Superman for what, 3 years? Right? That's
in the movie Superman, yeah.
In Superman, he's been Superman for 3 years. So now we got to assume it's been 4 years because we're pretty much in timeline order here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I can kind of forgive the whole kryptonite crap because we don't know what's been happening.
Sure.
3-4 years. I don't know if maybe Jason Momoa said it in interviews or whatever, but they have said that Lobo has interacted with Superman prior to the movie, but it's not mentioned in the movie, correct?
No.
It's not. So I don't know where those articles are coming from. Again, it could be BS. I see so much crap online that I'm just like, okay. But again, most of the time before these movies come out, I don't read the articles because I don't want to know. I'd rather just ignore everything until I see the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Lobo guy. I'm really not. I don't understand the fascination that people have with the character. I think he is just whatever, but he's fine. Like he's fun. I like Jason Momoa obviously, so I'm willing to go with it. And I think
I
the scene with him and Ruthie is great.
Let me make it clear. I'm not a Lobo super fan or anything. I've never taken the time to read Lobo comics, but every time I've ever seen him pop up in like in an animated series
Yeah.
or an animated movie or here, I've enjoyed what I've seen of Lobo. I
And
think
that's how
he's
Lobo should be. Like I don't need to see a Lobo movie. I think Lobo popping up is fun.
yeah, but I mean they made it make sense though.
Oh yeah.
He's a bounty hunter. He's after one of the people in Krim's gang.
Yeah.
Makes sense why he's going to be weaving in and out of the movie.
And it made sense to just make it the random guy in Krem's gang, not Krem. Because if it was
Not
Krem,
Krim.
it wouldn't have
Yeah.
made any sense. He would
Yeah.
have just killed Krem and then we'd be over.
Yeah. And every action, I think that's the weird part about putting Jason Momoa, somebody of his stature, in a movie like this, because I feel like he got a lot of focus in the action scenes, and I think his action sequences are better than what Supergirl's given action wise. He has some awesome moments with his bike. He's got the cool hook.
I like her action in the third. So
I like her act. I'm not saying her action is bad. I like her action, but his kind of overshadows hers. He gets the big sequence in the third act where he's riding this motorcycle all over the top of this ship.
Yeah.
And it's visually, to me,
Yeah.
more interesting than what they gave Kara.
And I would say it's got to be hard to come up with ideas on how to show a super being like Supergirl or Superman fighting and make it interesting. I can't imagine it being very. I mean, how creative can you do that? I like that they show her actually punching and kicking and like almost like martial artists and
Well, I do too, but they covered it up with a dust storm in the third act. And I think that's where the motorcycle is more interesting.
Yeah. But that's another thing that's a little muddy is like the powers of everybody is kind of, I don't know whether it's inconsistent or just not really explained well.
I have no idea what Krim's, they said he was powerful. I have no idea what he can do.
Yeah.
Other than
I think that does go back to the whole, and I mean, people have talked about this for years with the Marvel characters. The powers are very inconsistent from movie to movie because you have to cater to who they're fighting at that time. And it's just, if Superman and Supergirl were all powerful like they are in the books, they would just destroy everyone in 2 seconds and that'd be it. It's hard to, especially like Krem in the book. Krem has no superpowers in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes it far more interesting in like Superman, for instance, the 2025 movie. A lot of complaints have been levied against that because of how much he's getting his butt kicked. But then again, when Superman's all powerful, people say he's boring. Yeah. So I like them showing Superman being vulnerable.
And that's why they always tend to have him fighting a Kryptonian or a clone, or have him fight someone with equal or greater than powers of him. It's kind of the nature of the beast with these characters. So as much as I question what is going on with the power levels in this movie, I think the action looks cool, so I'm willing to forget all those inconsistencies that are possibly there. I like her action scene in the third act. I think she looks awesome. I think the suit looks amazing. I think she gets enough to do in that scene that is really fun to watch and really cool. I don't think she's overshadowed by Lobo, in my opinion. Again, I would have to watch it again, but I really liked what I was seeing from her. And I think the suit looks awesome in that scene. It's a shame we didn't get more of it.
I don't think Lobo overshadows her in the entire movie. I think he overshadows her in the two action sequences they share. Because I found myself more interested in what he was doing in that square and on that ship than what she was doing.
And I think it goes back to, it's easier to make it interesting with the bikes,
the motorcycle and the hook and the chains. Sure. Having said that, even though I wish we would have seen more of her in the suit, man, she looks good in the suit.
Yeah.
That suit looks great. She looks perfect in it. And I think that seeing her in action in the suit is really cool.
Yeah.
And we even, I think we got a, did we have her knock someone's teeth out? Am I misremembering that? I
No.
can't remember if that was a callback to Superman or not. There was definitely a slow mo where she punched somebody in the face
Why do I feel
towards
like
the
someone
screen.
lost a tooth and it was on the ground? Was it Krem?
I can't remember. But either way, we have the big action sequence in the third act, which kind of leads us to the end. And Ruthie, the whole movie, there's this conversation between Ruthie and Supergirl of Ruthie wants revenge. Ruthie wants to kill Krim.
Mm-hmm.
And Supergirl is kind of using, I feel like the lessons that her father taught her about be good, be good, be good.
And being the Superman character here, where
Yeah.
revenge isn't going to bring anyone back. It's just going to taint you, and yeah.
And she's trying to get that across that this will not make anything better if you do this. It'll make it worse. It's things we've heard from Batman and other heroes for years and years and years.
And she is just interested in getting the antidote for crypto and getting
crypto. And at the end, she has to have that conversation again because Krim is at the mercy of Ruthie, who's using her father's sword, and she's about to kill him. And Supergirl talks her down, talks her off the ledge, convinces her to walk away and not kill Krim. And then Supergirl kills Krim. So I love that they had the balls to do this. Mm-hmm. I really like that they had the fortitude to take from the book, because you and I had discussed this beforehand. We didn't know if they were gonna go there or not.
Yeah, it's done differently in
it is done differently in the book, but she still kills him.
Mm-hmm.
And she kills him here flat out. She stabs him and tells him this is for that little girl. And then she stabs him again and says, and that's for my dog. I like that they had the nerve to do it. I don't know that it fits the messaging that she's been preaching to Ruthie the entire movie. I think it was clumsily handled.
And so we talked about this, and I agree with you. I wanted to see Supergirl kill Krim at the end of this movie before I saw the movie. Mm-hmm. But it makes sense from a narrative perspective. Before I even saw the movie, I was just like, that's what I want. I don't want them to chicken out, because, and then the whole movie I'm watching, I'm like, well, she's not going to kill him, because that's the whole point, is she's being the superhero. She's being the audience pleasing superhero.
Yes.
In my opinion. So when they did it, I was like you, I was kind of mixed on it, because first of all, I'm like, all right, people aren't going to like this, which I usually don't care about anyway. But thematically, I'm with you. I don't know if it makes sense. The reason I can go with it, and I think I like it though, is because she knows this man has to die. She's doing it to protect Ruthie. So Ruthie never even has the thought to go back and kill him at any point.
I agree. I think she's
putting the burden on herself.
She's taking it on herself so Ruthie doesn't have to. She's being the hero in that moment, because she's taking the responsibility on herself.
Yeah.
So Ruthie doesn't have to. But it's not made clear in the movie.
No, to me, I think it's made clear enough by her saying that's for Ruthie.
Yeah,
them saying that's for Ruthie.
Yeah,
is them saying that, but I can see where it is a little clumsy.
Yeah,
but I'm so happy they didn't just arrest him or something.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be so conflicting if the entire movie she hadn't been like, you can't kill people, you don't kill people, we don't do that, Hey guys, quick interlude. Eric and Joe from the future. We wanted to check in with you because we made a little bit of a faux pas in our review talking about Supergirl. And we were talking about Supergirl killing Krim. First of all, it's been a little bit since I read the book. I don't know when the last time Joe read it was, but we got that wrong.
3 days ago.
So
Joe fan.
I completely misremembered this fact. So actually, Krim does not die in Woman of Tomorrow. The setup is that Ruthie is an unreliable narrator. She's narrating the entire story, and she's even written a book in her older age about the events of what happened with Supergirl and Krim. So at the end, we figure out that Krim was sentenced to 300 years in the Phantom Zone by Supergirl, and that she's brought Krim back to Ruthie. And Ruthie ends up whacking him in the head with a walking stick, and he falls to the ground. But you see him reach for his head, so he's clearly alive at the end of the book. So we got that wrong. Just wanted to jump in and let you know before we get emails and messages telling us how wrong we were. We realize it, so we hop back in to let you guys know. So Joe, I know you wanted to discuss this real quick.
I did because I completely misinterpreted the ending of the book. I read it 3 days ago. And I want to say how much now my opinion of the book has changed because of my misinterpretation of it. Because one of the main things I loved about the ending of the book was I thought Krim was killed by Supergirl, because that's how the book starts and that's how the book ends, with the words. The problem is the words that you're reading do not match the visual aspect of the book.
It's not even Supergirl swinging, or
no,
it's Ruthie.
I guess because it's the final page, I read it, and in my mind, I filled in the picture with what I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the Phantom Zone stuff. I obviously I've read the book the day I finished the book. The day we saw the movie, so it was fresh in my mind, just not the right interpretation of it, and I'm kind of bitter about it because, frankly, one of the biggest things I took away from the book is the fact that I like that Supergirl basically throws Krim in the Phantom Zone for 300 years and then kills him. In my mind, that's what happened. So now knowing that she didn't do that, to me, this book falls right into the category that I hate is, God forbid we kill a hero. I mean, God forbid a hero kills a villain. Can't have that. We can throw him in the Phantom Zone and torture him for 300 years. Can't kill him, though. And I'm sorry, that almost ruins the entire damn book for me. Because I feel like the book leads with, and I know we're not doing a podcast on the book, but I'm angry about this right now. Because the book starts with the narrator saying, Supergirl kills Krim. That's kind of how the book starts, right? And it's been a while, since you read it. But the book pretty much starts with the revenge. Like, that's really what it starts with.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to actually find the page and all that, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the first things that the book talks about is that, Supergirl got revenge for me. And
I'd be honest with you, I don't remember that particular part at the beginning, so I'll have to go back and read it.
And maybe we'll be back on here again for another redaction, because
we're not going to do that. But I don't recall that her specifically saying that Supergirl killed Krim. Now, she could have said something along the lines of, she avenged me or whatever. I don't remember.
But I will say my misinterpretation of the book was what made me like the book. I don't get this, and maybe it's I'm sure Tom King has his reasons, but I do not like.
For me, it makes the storytelling of the book more consistent than the movie, though, because the book, there's the same thing that happens in the book that happens in the movie. The whole way through, she's telling Ruthie, you can't do this. You don't want to taint your soul or whatever.
I get it. But also, how is putting him in the Phantom Zone for 300 years
because, Joe, for the first 100 years, he just yelled and shouted about how wrong he had been done. And then the last 200, he started feeling sorry for his victims.
Somehow it's more merciful to put someone in a Phantom Zone for 300 years than it is to just kill him after he does all these incredulous things. I feel like it's a cop-out to just not have the hero kill him and be done with it. And I can't stand that trope in comic book stories lately. is we cannot have the hero do anything in the aspect of killing. And I get
Well,
it. I don't
we're not here to judge
I
capital
know.
punishment.
Yeah. I don't know. I even more so now do I appreciate the fact that the movie did something different. And I'll leave it at that instead of getting on a tangent with the book.
Still had balls to do what they did in the movie.
Yes.
But yeah, we wanted to get on here and put that correction out there in the universe before the universe spits it back at us. Yeah. So that being said, let's get back to the actual show. So thank you for this little interlude from the future. Enjoy the rest of the show. I do like that it draws a line in the sand that there's a difference between Superman and Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
There's lines that he won't cross that she will.
Yeah.
I like that there's a difference between them. I don't think they got it through with the messaging in the movie though. And that's I think that's where it's a little messy.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's ever going to be addressed.
No, I don't think so. I think I don't think it'll ever be touched on again.
Yeah, and I would prefer them not to touch on it. I think this is just something that Supergirl did and Supergirl lives with and she's okay with it and we move on. That's what I hope for. I worry about the revisionist, backtracking of DC, where if this is a crutch that people are mad about, which again, I don't mean this to belittle a Supergirl movie. People are less likely to care that Supergirl killed someone than Superman killing someone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause Superman, like Man of Steel, literally had no other choice. And that's been a debate for years.
Literally executed this guy. And it probably won't be debated that much.
No, probably not.
Other than thematically. I think if you debate this thematically, it's perfectly fine. I don't think there's any thematically debating of Man of Steel. People complain about Superman killing no matter what.
And here's the thing. From a story perspective, I mean, the things that Krim did, I got no issue with it.
No. I have no issues with anything.
Yeah.
And I like that it's putting the burden on Kara. She's taking that burden. That is her version of being a hero in this moment, is I'm going to kill you because she shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it.
And I think that is like, so far as like writing and script, I know we were talking about like people having issues with the script and stuff like that. The general plot of the movie, I have no problem with, because it's the same general plot as the book that it's based off of. It's those little writing pieces that I think let it down a little bit, where thematically, like we're going through the plot as outlined, but it's those little things where it doesn't add up at the end.
Here's where I will, and I agree with everything you just said. I think too many people will watch a movie, not like it, decide it's the worst thing in the world, and say the script is the worst thing they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we don't know what was in the script. We didn't read the script. No. This could be an editing issue. This could be a director issue. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when I see a review that says worst script I can remember, your opinion is invalid. Like, how many movies have you seen? Like,
well, when a reviewer says worst script I can remember,
maybe your memory's as bad as mine.
Well, no, it makes me wonder. Well, when did you read the script?
Yeah,
are you reviewing the script?
When this is, again, I can go on a tangent for a while with this, but when did we start watching movies as critics? We are not critics. We are people going to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have reached this point in society, or as moviegoers, where we can't wait to go see a movie and then come home on our computers and write a review, either praising the movie as the best thing in the world or tearing it down at all costs. Instead of just watching a movie and going, that was good. Or, I wasn't really crazy about it. It's all about what I can say in the public forum that'll get me attention.
Well, exactly, because nobody wants to read or watch a YouTube video where someone goes, hey, it was okay.
Yeah.
They need it's the best thing I've ever seen, or this is
validation of it too, where people are,
this is trash.
Me, or I don't know. I just don't get it. Again, I really liked this movie. I know I told you I loved it when I came out. I probably did love it when I first saw it. Thinking about it though, and coming down from that high, which again, that's fun. I'd rather come out of a movie and say I love it before I start thinking about it too much. Like, that's
Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have been in that same boat.
and I
Again,
don't think that's called being, like that's how it used to be. We just watched a movie, we said, "Oh, that was great," and then we never thought about it again. We didn't think about, and again, we're talking on a podcast here, so I get it. We're part of the problem probably, but like we never did this. Like we never discussed, we never scrutinized the movie. We never did all this kind of stuff. And I think it's okay to do it as long as you're honest and as long as you're having fun with it. But yeah, let's not pretend like we know what the script was, or to say it's the worst script you ever heard, or again, you didn't read the script, but sometimes a movie just has some issues, but it still can be okay.
mhm.
Sometimes I don't know, when did movies stop being just okay?
Yeah, I agree. I think ultimately for me, this is a pretty okay superhero
Yeah.
film.
This is not the savior that DC needed, because I don't think it needed it. This is not the end all be all of it. The DCU is not dying because Supergirl came out and didn't make $1 billion.
No, which we don't know what it's going to make yet.
You know what the budget was on this? It had to have been a little lower, right? Like
Wikipedia, which take that for what it is,
yeah.
says 170 to 186.
And honestly, I think that's high.
It's high, yeah.
Like I wouldn't. I'm not making these decisions, but I feel like 125, 150 is the good range for a Supergirl movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Again, it's not my money, so I don't care. Like, spend whatever you want, make whatever you want, as long as you're not going to panic over what it makes at this point. I don't care what you do. I got a good Supergirl movie that I really enjoyed.
And I'm excited to see her in Man of Tomorrow
Yeah,
next
I
year.
can't wait for Man of Tomorrow. Oh, so I don't know if you want to talk about this. First of all, I like the ending scene with Clark. I think that's great. I think the way this movie ends is great.
Yes.
People are really mad that there's not a post-credit scene.
Well, I saw that Craig Gillespie said about this specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I'd said everything I wanted to say before the credits. I didn't have anything I needed to say after.
And I applaud. We've applauded them for having balls throughout the movie. I applaud him for having the balls to say, you know what? I'm not putting a post-credit scene in here just to put one in here because that's what everyone does in comic book movies anymore.
Most directors now would have taken that scene of her coming back to Earth and the Clark visit in his apartment and would have put that as a post-credit scene.
And I like it in the movie.
I have no issue with it being before the credits. Why do we need everything to be why do we need everything to have a post-credit scene?
I've heard people
It's so funny
because Man of Tomorrow, they wanted something to set up Man of Tomorrow. Well, we're going to get a trailer. That's the setup for Man of Tomorrow.
It's so funny. Next time you're in a theater watching a movie like this, wait until the credits start. Look around your theater.
Everyone's on their phone.
Everybody's looking on their phone to see if there's post-credit scene.
I did it. And even me, I knew there wasn't one. But part of me was like, you know what? Maybe they held it back from the early screenings. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be actually in the movie. And they were just, being coy with it. I still stayed just in case.
Yeah.
But I give them credit for not so again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Superman, to me, if you're going to have a post-credit scene, I think those are the way to do it. It has no ramifications for the movie. It's not a stupid setup for another movie. They're just fun.
Weird. And the post-credit scenes in Superman, you're not going to see in an article 10 years from now. But post-credit scenes that never paid off.
But also, people complained about the post-credit scenes in Superman. Oh, why did I stay in my seat to watch this stupid crap? Well, nobody told you.
You didn't have to.
You didn't have to. That's the point. If the post-credit scene is so important, put it in the movie.
I prefer the Ferris Bueller approach with post-credit scenes.
That's how they were supposed to be. Fun little things that if you see them, awesome. If you don't see them, it's no big deal.
Or like the Deadpool and Wolverine with the whole with the Fox tribute in the credits.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. I think we've gotten to a point where it's like
they're not fun anymore. They're necessity. And I don't need it.
Yeah.
I really don't. I like that the Clark thing with the apartment was in the movie. It should have been in the movie. It was a good, epilogue to the movie.
I have seen and I can't remember this is a tangent, but I have been to a theater and literally seen posted on the door when you walk in.
There is a post scene.
There is a post credit scene.
Really? So my
Mm-hmm.
theater usually the lights will come on,
Mm-hmm.
or the people will come in and start cleaning up.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that's to address that. I've only seen one theater do that, but I think that's to just let people know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
usually look it up on my phone right when the movie ends. I'm that guy.
yeah, there used to be an app, Media Stinger or something like that, and it doesn't. It's down. It doesn't work
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
But anyway, we're way outside of talking about Supergirl, so let's wrap it up, Joe. End of the day, I'll give my final thoughts, and then I'll let you go. I think this is a movie that is far from perfect. It has its lion's share of issues, but ultimately, it's a good time. And I really enjoyed Millie Alcock in the role. I was excited for her ever since I heard that they were casting the girl from House of the Dragon, because I love that show, to be Supergirl, because she was excellent in that show and she was excellent as Supergirl. She did a lot with the material that she had here. I'm excited to see the future for her. I'm excited to see the future of Lobo, and I want to see this again. And hopefully, it works a little better for me on the second viewing than it does now, knowing what I know.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to another viewing. I'm looking forward to seeing what else is in store for these characters. And at the end of the day, I like this movie. I don't love it, but I like it. So, what's your final thoughts on Supergirl, Joe?
Yeah, I honestly, so I've actually been torn because my daughter wanted to go see it, and I'm like, well, I have to go see these movies first to then see if it's okay for you to see it. I don't think I'll take her to the theater to see it, but I think this is an easy one to put on at home,
Mm-hmm.
um, and have it on in the background, and she can watch it with me at home. Things get much things tend to be a little scarier for her when we're at the theater when she's actually focusing and can't go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issues with her watching this when we're at home though. She's 8. I'm a little lenient with that stuff, but I'm hoping I go see it, and now I hate it because of all the reasons you told me to hate it while we are sitting here and talking about it. But no, I
I don't hate it.
no. Listen, I after everything that I loved about the DCU, the original, I'm sorry, the DCEU or whatever you want to call it, that it showed that they were always willing to take big swings, and unfortunately, when they did, it didn't always work. Where I think with Superman and Supergirl, they've tended to take less big swings. These are very comfort food. I don't want to say safe because I don't think that's fair, but they're pretty carefully made to just be fun, watchable films.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even trying to say that as a negative, but I do think the highs never reach the highs I want because of that. But
Sure.
this is a very good movie to just be able to put, like, I don't love Superman as much as I love Man of Steel or BVS. I find myself throwing it on a lot though, because it's just a comforting movie to put on and fall into, and just it's easy. I'm not saying that to be negative. It's just an easy movie to watch, and it's good. I enjoy it. I think this is going to be the same thing for me when this comes out on disc. I'm going to put it in a lot and enjoy a 1-2 punch of Superman and Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun ride.
Mm.
Hour and 50 minutes. Nothing too crazy. It's fun. It's got serious moments. It's got emotional moments. To me, it has everything that I want in a movie. It's got superhero action. I don't think it's anything that it didn't need to be, that big swing. And that's kind of like a backhanded compliment. Listen, I want more big swings, but the
Mm-hmm.
general audience has kind of proven to these movie makers at this point, they want safe. They want straightforward. They want what's the word I'm looking for? Not approachable, accessible. They want accessible movies. This to me is more of a big swing than Superman was. Not necessarily a huge big swing, but to me it was trying something different. It didn't feel like a James Gunn movie as much as maybe people were worrying it was. Does it have that same kind of style to it at some point? Yeah, it does. But I don't think it's exactly a James Gunn movie. I think Gillespie has his own style,
Mhm.
and I appreciate that. But it fits in the world, and I appreciated, just seeing more of the same characters, more of the continuity, and getting a good standalone Supergirl movie to start off her journey in the DCU. It's got me, like we talked about, it's got us excited about where she's going now going forward. Lobo is bound to pop up sooner or later. That's where I like what we're building here, is these characters are going to kind of show up here and there like a comic book. We're going to read comic books, and characters are going to show up. These are comic books come to life at this point. And we're all excited about Man of Tomorrow. We still got Clayface coming in October still.
Lanterns.
Lanterns in August, which is still in this world. We're getting different things, and just this movie for what it is, I enjoyed it. I didn't need to be over the moon about it. I didn't need to hate it. Obviously, I didn't want to hate it. I'm happy with what I got from this movie. I am. It's a movie that I can throw on and enjoy, and that's, at the end of the day, I'm not going to criticize these movies as much as, a critic. I'm not a critic. I'm just going to watch a movie, enjoy it. I can be honest and pick out its flaws here and there, but I still really like this movie. I think it did a lot of things right, despite doing some things wrong. So I'm annoyed and I'm rambling, but I'm annoyed that the people are bashing this thing like it's the worst thing in the world. I'm so tired of every time we get a freaking movie from the comic book side of things and they compare it to Catwoman or Elektra, or it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? Like, can we stop?
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, it's not Morbius, but come on, stop.
We got to get out and see more movies. Honestly, everyone just got to lighten the F up a little bit. Like, it's just, they're movies, guys. That's it. They're movies. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to take you out of the world for a little bit, or make you just have some fun and enjoy yourself. So I'm happy with what we got.
Well, I implore you, go watch the Coen Brothers True Grit. I really want you to see that movie.
Okay.
So I'm very curious after you see this.
Hey, I might come out of it and say, you know what? Haley Steinfeld is no Ruthie.
I'd be fascinated if that's your take.
Ruthie is my True Grit.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there, Joe. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode and a brand new DC film. So why don't you let everybody know where they can find you out there on social media?
You can find me on X, Instagram, and Letterboxd as J411. And Facebook is Joe Fornerato, FORNAROTTO. And yeah, I'm glad we were able to get this in and talk about a new DC movie. And Lanterns will be here before we know it. We got Cape Crusader season 2 coming in July. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I know we're getting,
we just switched our format and we got DC stuff coming out like crazy.
Maybe that's what we needed to do, just to throw everybody off.
Yeah, there you go. So as for myself, you can find my personal accounts on most podcast or most social media platforms. Just search Me Carter 89. That's ME Carter 89. The show can be found on those social media platforms as well. Just tfrbatpod. If you'd like to support the show, the best and easiest and free way to do that is to leave us a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. If you leave written reviews on Apple Podcasts, we will read those on the show. We also read your emails, so if you'd like to send us one, you can send that to tfrbatpod@gmail.com. If you're looking for another way to support the show, you can go to redbubble.com, search Shop TFR, and find all of our logos on some cool merch there. Our theme song was composed by Gaurav Venkateswar, and his music can be found on gbtunes.com. Make sure you use the link in the description, use our promo codes, go to Panelbound Comics, do some fun shopping, and support this show as you do so. That's going to do it for this episode of TFR. Thank you so much on behalf of Joe and myself. We'll see you next time. All IP discussed on this podcast are the property of their individual companies. The Fire Rises is in no way associated with the properties discussed or the companies that own them. All third-party trademarks, images, and audio clips used in this podcast belong to their respective owners. Their inclusion is for commentary and/or criticism, which constitutes fair use under copyright law. The views and opinions of the participants of this show are strictly their own. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.